Welcome back to the channel, Ancient Mystery Lovers. Today we're diving deep into a civilization that blended the sacred with the supernatural more seamlessly than any other. Ancient Egypt, where religion and magic weren't just connected, they were basically the same thing. Grab your amulets, hold on to your papyrus scrolls, and let's step into a world where gods walked among humans, spells could heal or harm, and the universe itself was held together by divine order. Let's begin. To understand ancient Egypt, you have to forget our modern categories. Today we separate science from spirituality and religion from magic. But in ancient Egypt, magic, known as Heka, was a fundamental force of the universe. It wasn't a hobby, it wasn't witchcraft, and it definitely wasn't taboo. Egyptians believed that the gods created the world using magic, and humans could tap into that same cosmic power. Imagine a civilization where casting a spell was as normal as saying a prayer. Wearing a protective amulet was like wearing sunscreen, and asking a god for help could involve chanting, burning incense, or drawing a cobra on a bowl and smashing it to banish enemies. In Egypt, magic wasn't supernatural, it was natural. So, let's talk about Heka. To the Egyptians, Heka was the force that allowed everything to function. Without Heka, the sun wouldn't rise, crops wouldn't grow, and the gods themselves couldn't act. Yes, you heard that right, even the gods needed magic. Heka was also the name of a god, a figure often shown holding two serpents, symbolizing mastery over hidden knowledge. But Heka wasn't worshipped in temples. Why? Because he wasn't just a god, he was the power that made all gods effective. Think of Heka as electricity. We don't pray to electricity, we just use it. Egyptian religion worked the same way. Now, the Egyptian pantheon wasn't just a list of deities, it was a soap opera of cosmic proportions. There's Ra, the sun god, who sailed across the sky each day and battled the giant serpent Apophis each night. Without spells performed by priests, Ra might lose that fight, and the sun wouldn't rise. There's Isis, the queen of magic, who was said to be so powerful, she resurrected her husband Osiris after he was murdered and chopped into pieces. If you were an ancient Egyptian, Isis was your go-to goddess for protection, healing, and, quite literally, raising the dead. And of course there's Thoth, god of writing and knowledge, who was something like the cosmic librarian. He recorded the verdict of every soul, knew every spell, and kept the universe running on schedule. Egyptian religion didn't just teach morality, it explained how the universe stayed together, the cosmic cycle, the sun, the afterlife, and magic was woven directly into every myth. So, who handled all this magical maintenance? The priests. Unlike priests in many cultures, Egyptian priests weren't spiritual leaders guiding personal behavior. Their job was more like celestial technicians, honestly. Every day, priests woke the gods' statues, bathed them, dressed them, fed them, and recited spells to keep divine power flowing. This wasn't symbolic, it was absolutely necessary. If priests didn't do their rituals, the gods might weaken, chaos might rise, and the world could unravel. Imagine the pressure of being responsible for the sunrise every morning. Outside temple duties, priests also used magic for healing, protection, dream interpretation, and exorcism. A snake bite? There's a spell for that. A haunting? Spell. Trouble. Sleeping. Spell. Bad breakup? Oh, definitely a spell. Magic was medicine, therapy, and cosmic maintenance all rolled into one. But magic wasn't just for the priests. Even farmers, fishermen, and artisans used spells in their daily lives. Amulets were incredibly popular. You'd find amulets shaped like ankhs, scarabs, eyes, baboons, cobras, each with its own magical purpose. A mother might place a taweret amulet under her pillow for safe childbirth. A traveler might carry a Bez amulet to scare off evil spirits. Spells were written on pottery shards, papyri, or even the sides of sandals. One woman famously wrote the name of an unfaithful lover on her shoes so she could literally step on him with every stride. Egyptians also used apotropaic wands carved from hippopotamus ivory, covered with lions, snakes, and protective spirits. These weren't toys. These were magical shields used during childbirth, believed to guard mothers and newborns from danger. Magic protected every stage of life, from birth all the way to death. Speaking of death, in ancient Egypt, Dying was just the beginning of a massive magical journey. The afterlife was full of tests, demons, gates, and challenges. To navigate it, you needed spells, amulets, rituals, and a well-preserved body. That's where the Book of the Dead comes in. This wasn't a single book. It was a customizable spellbook buried with the deceased. It contained dozens of spells, spells to breathe in the afterlife, spells to keep your heart from betraying you in judgment, spells to transform into a lotus flower, or a falcon, or even a god. One of the most famous spells, Spell 125, includes the negative confession, where the deceased declares things like, "I did not steal. I did not commit murder. I did not cause pain." If the heart was light, the soul entered paradise. If not, well, the soul was eaten by Ammit, a crocodile-lion-hippo creature with a taste for sinners. Everything, from mummification to tomb texts, was powered by magic. Egyptians believed that words had power, not metaphorically, but literally. Writing a name or a spell brought it into the world. Carving an enemy on an object and smashing it was an actual magical attack. Similarly, erasing someone's name could destroy their memory and doom their soul. That's why pharaohs guarded their names so carefully, and it's also why damnatio memoriae, erasing someone from inscriptions, was one of the gravest punishments. Images carried power too. That's why tombs were filled with painted food, clothing, servants, and furniture. The dead didn't need the real thing, just the magical version created through art. For Egyptians, art was technology, a tool to activate magic. Let's talk about Egyptian medical magic because this stuff is fascinating. Egyptians didn't separate medicine from magic. A doctor might set a bone or mix an herbal remedy and then recite a spell to activate its healing power. They believed illness could come from natural causes, angry gods, evil spirits, curses, or even snake or scorpion stings, so treatment was holistic. A spell might call upon Sekhmet, Hathor, or Isis. A potion could contain honey, malachite, herbs, and even beer. And if you were bitten by a snake, a magician priest might recite a myth about Isis curing Horus as a way of invoking the same healing. Myths weren't just stories, they were magical templates. Of course, not all magic was friendly. Egyptians definitely believed in harmful magic, what we'd call curses or hexes. Although dangerous spells were illegal and frowned upon, that didn't stop people from trying. Archaeologists have found so-called execration texts, clay figurines or pottery shards inscribed with the names of enemies, foreign rulers, rival towns, or even local troublemakers. These objects were then smashed, burned, or buried to unleash magical destruction. Magic could heal, protect, guide, but it could also punish and destroy. So, why were religion and magic so intertwined in ancient Egypt? Because Egyptians believed that the universe was fragile. Every night, chaos tried to break through. Every morning, order needed to be restored. Magic wasn't superstition. It was the glue that held reality together. Religion provided the gods. Magic provided the power. Together they sustained the cosmos. For Egyptians, magic wasn't an alternative to religion. It was religion. So, what's the legacy of all this? Egyptian magic influenced Greek philosophy, Hebrew texts, early Christian rituals, and even modern esotericism. When we talk about amulets, spells, sacred symbols, the power of names, we're echoing ideas thousands of years old. But more importantly, the Egyptians remind us of something profound, that the world is full of mystery, and that humans have always sought tools, spiritual, symbolic, and magical, to make sense of forces larger than ourselves. Whether or not you believe in magic, the Egyptians believed in the power of imagination, intention, ritual, and story. And those are forms of magic we still hold today. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the mystical heart of ancient Egypt. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give the video a like, hit subscribe, and let me know which ancient civilization you want us to explore next. Until then, may the magic of Heka guide your path. See you in the next video.